Good evening, everyone. On behalf of shiksha.com, I, Kanika Arora, welcome you all to this webinar on CAT, XAT, and MAT. And I'm very much pleased to welcome Mr. Arithro Das Gupta, who is a distinguished trainer and writer. He has trained students both online and offline in India and abroad. He has coached students to ace some of the toughest examinations in the country, such as CAT, CLAT, CUET, and IP MAT. So Mr. Arithro is also an expert writer, having written for several leading publications in India and abroad. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Kanika.
You're welcome. And I extend my warm welcome to all the participants in today's session once again. So today's program is going to open the floodgates of opportunities for all the participants. And there are several MBA entrance exams in India, except CAT, and doing well in these exams is the dream of a large number of students in India. So you have chosen to be here in this session. So I'm assuming that you are very well, like pretty clear about doing an MBA, right? Okay, so once you decide to do an MBA, next logical questions comes about the competitive exams. And you should know what is the difference between CAT and other MBA entrance exam. There are many similarities between CAT and other exams, but still there are important differences of that exam from CAT exam and so on. So today we'll share everything that you need to consider. And by the end of this session video, I think you will have a clear idea about these exams, guys. So this is exactly why we have organized this session, so that all the MBA aspirants for this year who are attending this session gets valuable feedback from our exam consultant, Mr. Arithro Das Gupta. And without taking much of your time, guys, I would like Mr. Arithro to take over and start with his introduction. Up to you, sir.
Yes, good evening, everyone. So, really good to be back with Shiksha because I do occasionally take these webinars with Shiksha and I write for Shiksha as well. So one thing I would suggest to all of you is just a few days remaining, about just a week, I guess, is remaining, about 12 days this year. So this is the right time to, go for that final push. But please do not take too much stress. Most of you have done most of the preparation already. So there is not much of stress to be taken at this stage. So just be calm. So most of you would have already done most of the preparation, I believe. And I'm assuming most of you have also gone through several mock exams. So now is the time mostly to go over and revise stuff. Don't start any topic completely from zero. I don't think that is going to work at this stage. So look at your strong areas and focus on those for the last 12 days and do a few mocks maybe. I'm not saying one mock every day, but we have about 12 days remaining. Today 16th, right? So exactly 10 days remaining. So in that period, you should be able to do 5-6 mocks at least. I think that's a decent approach. 4 to 5 mocks in these days.
Exactly. I strongly believe in your thoughts because you are giving a great tip at this time, at this moment. I also agree that revision is the basic thing, or maybe mocks practice. That's the end. You cannot start from the beginning. Now you just have to revise whatever like you have done in your past. So I think it will be useful for the students. Apart from that, guys, I would just like you to make the most out of the Q&A session. Since this session is for you guys, we are welcoming the questions here under Q&A tab. You can just check the Q&A tab below your screen and post your queries there itself, and we'll be happy to assist you with those. Before we take up the questions and the questions are pouring in, before that, we will just take over the topic that how different are the CAT, XAT, and MAT exams from each other. Because most of the students and the topic or the subheading behind this webinar, behind this session is to know about this thing, the difference and the easiest exam amongst all.
Right. So the three exams, broadly, they're related because ultimately they are all aptitude exams. They are all for your final selection to some top college, obviously. But there are some key differences within them. So I would say MAT is a very basic paper. and the quality or the strength, the difficulty of questions is not much in math. Rather, math is an exam I feel that people should attempt as many as possible. Like if I get a question paper, I must make sure that I have answered as many questions as possible, because the accuracy is likely to be pretty high. At least you have to assume a student who's reasonably good, reasonably well prepared, will be able to answer a good number of questions. So I would say attempt as many. Math is like a speed test. You do as many questions as possible. CAT and XAT, on the other hand, your accuracy matters a lot more. So it's not about attempting too many questions. Maybe let's say you attempt 70 to 75% of the questions, but make sure your accuracy is as high as possible, because you don't need a 280 out of 300 to make it through. If you get 100, 120, 150, it's still a very good score. So it's about accuracy that matters. Within CAT and XAT, I would say there are some key differences, but not much. Like XAT has a GK portion, but again, that doesn't have too much weightage. I would say the English is slightly tougher in XAT. There is a bit of higher maths, bit of slightly class 11, 12 maths. There's a few topics, but mostly it is the 10th level, and mostly it is of CAT level. So slightly tougher than CAT, but again, not very different. So if I have to rate it in terms of difficulty, this is XAT, this is CAT, and this is MAT. So the difference is quite a bit for
Oh,
them. If I
okay.
look at the number of college options you have, XAT has very few colleges by comparison which accept the XAT scores. It's obviously for the Xavier's group. So that includes XLRI, XIME, XIM Bhubaneswar. There is the college in Goa Institute of Management, Loyola. And there are a couple of colleges which do also accept XAT and CAT. CAT gives you hundreds of colleges in the country. There are very few colleges which don't accept CAT. MAT again has lots of colleges, but again, not the best of colleges. So a really good student, for that student who's aiming for the best of colleges, MAT should be like a backup for you, and CAT is what you really aim at. So number of options like MAT and CAT have a lot. XAT is comparatively fewer.
But that is quite difficult also than CAT.
Pretty tough, yes, yes. Slightly difficult than CAT and much more difficult than MAT.
Great. So you have given a great description and explained it so well. And you have also given some of the top B schools and other colleges, top MBA colleges, which a student can opt for. I think like, again, that will be helpful to the students. So Rohit, you have raised your hand. I would request you to please post your question in the Q&A tab, and we'll be taking up from there. And sir, we have one question from
Yes.
Yash Raj. Please tell, can Hindi medium student also do MBA?
Absolutely, Yashraj. There is absolutely no restriction to Hindi medium or any other language as long as your content is good. Obviously, for Hindi medium, I think English might be a bit of a challenge, but there are lots of people who've gone to Hindi medium and who have gone to some other regional college, and they are at the top of the corporate pile. So I don't see any difference with that. Maths, definitely there is no difference. In the verbal section, I agree. In quants, there is no difference. In verbal, I agree there could be some disadvantage. But if you're good at grammar, if you're good at RC, basically you have to improve your reading a lot. Now, this season, I don't know which are you. Maybe if Yashraj could answer, if he's in his final year, I don't know. But if he's attempting this year, I'm not sure how much time is remaining. But again, you have to read a lot. If you read a lot, there is no restriction to Hindi medium or any other language.
I hope, Yash, you got your answer. There is no restriction. So please go ahead and with the same and all the very best. Okay. So what about like which exam is better as per your thoughts? CAT, SAT or MAT? Which
Uh,
gives you a great ROI, or maybe for students as well?
Yes, again, I don't know the student exactly, so I don't really know the background, the scores, etc. But yes, MAT is a very good exam to start with. In terms of ROI, you will make it somewhere at least in the country. With CAT, the number of options reduce a bit because you obviously have some of the best colleges in the country, but the number of other colleges reduces. With MAT, the number of options are a lot. So MAT definitely everyone should give. And also, as I said, the quality of question is a bit easier. So if you feel your verbal is not very strong, definitely MAT is an exam you can make it. Maybe for somebody who's not very confident right now, you can probably skip that, or maybe you can just take it as a backup, but focus on MAT and CAT.
So MAT is more scoring as well?
Yes, more scoring. Also, some students who have made it to a very good college at graduation probably wouldn't sit for it Somebody who's made it to an IIT or let's say SRCC or some elite colleges, St. Stephen's, may not sit for this paper. So that reduces the competition to a large extent.
Great. Superb for like that answer that you gave me. Okay, Naman Arora has a question that he scored 186 marks in NMAT.
Mhm.
Which good college can he get? Any suggestions?
Right. Again, it's very difficult, Naman, right now. If you can give me a percentile, that will be more useful. But yes, 186, I think you have a good chance to make it to a pretty decent college. We'll have to look at the overall, band of colleges. Also, we have three, as you know, there are three attempts. So let's try to give all of them and then see.
Okay.
It's
And
difficult to give a sudden one-word answer to this. Is a little, we have to wait a bit because you must understand, for a college like Narsi Monji, a large waiting list will clear, because you
exactly.
see a lot of people will now give CAT, XAT, etc. Some of them will make it to a better college, so-called better college, and so they will keep upgrading themselves.
Okay, so that's the main viewpoint of the colleges. Okay, so Purvi Mittal wants to know how to improve English. That's a
So
very general question. Yeah.
yes. So I think this is something very general but very important to everyone. If you're asking me for this attempt, then I don't know how I can tell you for the last 10 days. I would say prepare as many mock exams, look at last year's papers, look at a little bit of grammar. You understand CAT is all about RC these days, reading comprehension. So read as many passages as possible. If you are asking long term, because this question is more of a long term thing, I would say read as much as possible. Start reading newspapers, start reading novels, and your speed has to improve basically. Also try reading a bit on online rather than of course, I would always prefer if you read from a physical book. That's something I always prefer. But for your exam purpose, because CAT exam is a computer based paper, so that way it helps you. Because a book I read like this, it's a basic thing. Laptop I'm seeing like this. So there is a difference between reading this way and this way. So real paper you will see like this. So it's very important that you start reading online.
Right, and I think this will be helpful to all the students who are facing like English issues, but this is very important part which cannot be ignored.
Right.
Okay, so Shruti Raja wants to know CAT, MAT, and XAT is for which specialization, like finance or HR or any other?
Any, it doesn't matter which specialization. So right now you have to obviously go and give your best shot. Right now, don't think of this. All exams offer all kinds of choices, but it depends on your percentile, your interest, and where you make it. Some colleges are better in some courses. If you are a dedicated HR person, go for that, give your best shot to that. XLRI is like a dream for an HR student. Similarly, Tata Institute, TIS in Maharashtra is very good. Symbiosis is very good for HR, right? But again, finance, marketing, they also have a really broad scope, so it doesn't matter too much.
That's good. You have given a fair idea about all the colleges which are good for like HR domain specifically. And HR stream is like mostly in demand right now. So
Right,
these
right.
are the very good colleges that you have just referred
Yes.
to. Okay. And can an average student crack CAT or other exams as well? Because this was the question being posted on Shiksha platform as well and is being asked by the anonymous attendee now.
I will actually say that an average student can do extremely well in CAT. Rather, if you are traditionally an average student who's been getting, let's say, I don't know, in today's world, 95 is probably average, but back in my day, 70 was considered average. So if you are, let's say, an so-called average student, then definitely CAT is not something which goes by your class 12, class 10, class 8 academic record. Rather, aptitude exams are ideal for people who may not have scored very well, because you need that slightly different approach. You see a problem, and I'm not saying exactly a problem, but sometimes it happens with toppers. They want to read every question, they want to answer every question. There's a bit of an ego between the question and the topper. So if I'm a topper, I want to answer everything. But if I'm not, on the other hand, I understand which one to attempt. I need to be clever, I need to think which one I can do. So definitely an average student can crack. You need to be good at one of the two. You need to select whether you're better in quants or verbal or reasoning. One of the three you need to do slightly better. The other two, even if you're getting sort of average scores, you can definitely still make it very well.
Okay, thank you once again for sharing this information. So average students can like should not worry and go ahead with the same with little practice. You will definitely be able to make out. Okay. And does college forms filling necessary for a student before exam?
College forms filling, yes,
Forms.
mostly it is, but not every college.
Okay.
So again, I'll put it, the higher the colleges, they expect the forms to be filled early so that it's easier for them. So if I'm an elite college, if I'm an SP Gen or MDI, then I want to know how many people have applied, what is their profile, so I can start doing the shortlisting. Whereas if I'm slightly lower or much lower, let's say, then I'm ready to take people later on as well. So again, it depends on the level of the college. The better the college, please keep your eyes and ears open and fill them as soon as possible.
Yeah, Harshil, I hope you also got your answer, and just go ahead and fill the forms beforehand. And Shakir wants to know, can I prepare for CAT for from BBA first year and give it second or third year?
So you can give it in your third year while you are in college. You can't give it in the second year. You can start your preps from first year. But at the same time, what I have experienced since I've been training people in CAT for almost a decade. So what I have realized is if you start too early, you might lose steam. Please understand CAT with due respect. It's a tough exam, but it is not as tough, and the question and the competition is not as high as a JEE or a NEET. Right? I understand people start from class 6 for JEE and class 2 for NEET. So I understand that, but in CAT, if you start too early, you might lose your steam. So I don't want that happening. I would say second year or even third year is ideal. 8 to 12 months is ideal time period to prepare. Even 6 months is fine. If you start from first year, you might get bored by the time there is the real paper. Are you getting my point, Shakib? Because you've spent too long and there's nothing to do in the first year and a half.
Yeah, I think Shakir must have been like gotten a clear view now about which year he should go for. And how can I build the accuracy? What's the
Accuracy. Now, this is a slightly tougher question. This is more of an academic question. I'm not sure it can be answered in a quick webinar, but so this is an academic question. You have to ask the specific academic teacher. Hardik, if you are involved in some coaching, and I'm not asking where, but if you are involved in some coaching institute, I would suggest you give a few mocks, appear for a few mocks, and then sit down with the teacher. Ask the teacher that I want a mock analysis session. For example, whichever institute I've been associated with over the years, I have often taken these mock analysis sessions where I sit down with the student and I tell that person, this is the problem, this is not, because this is very subjective. This changes from person to person. So best is you give a few mocks yourself. You will also know where you lack, and then you sit with the other person, with your teacher, and then they will be able to help you out.
Okay, so you have summarized the accuracy thing in a very shortened, but we'll just come up with this in more detailed manner, maybe in the next webinar. But Hardik, I think that you must be clear about the point of, the point that Sir was trying to explain it to you.
Hmm.
Okay, is it good to do MBA after BCom?
Absolutely. I mean, there is nothing to answer here. It is
Yeah.
good to do MBA after any course for that matter. But especially if you're from BCom, this is a absolute natural progression. I can understand an engineer or a doctor or somebody from humanities being asked why MBA after XYZ. In your case, it is the other way around. You might be asked technical questions. So absolutely no tension there.
Okay, and is there any specific college for MBA in hospital administration?
So, Guna, what I remember, I mean, couple of years back, in fact, about a decade back, hospital management had really come up very strongly. And I know that Apollo Group had started its hospital management courses specifically. Some of those courses, not just Apollo, generally, it did not work as much as it could have. There were lots of these super specialized MBAs in 2008, 9, 10, 11. Those were boom years for MBA, couple of those years. Some of those courses slowed down with time, but I think you must go to the Apollo website. They are running this course, and I believe the Jamia Hamdard group is also doing something similar. So there are some specific colleges where you can do this. But again, having said that, Guna, you don't need to go for such a super specialization, because that also restricts your options in the future. Because the way the business world is changing constantly, thanks to automation, AI, etc. So it's always necessary to build a broad, bouquet of skills. So while you can go for this, you don't have to restrict yourself to it. Look at other options. If you make it to a really good college in the general line, then you can consider that as well.
That's an excellent thing you have shared about looking for a broader perspective. And I think that is in for all of the students who are restricted to certain domains should look for more things, what is going on in the market.
Today
Um,
it's not so closed, like earlier it was like if you're from
yeah,
HR, you're HR only. If you're finance only. But
exactly.
today it's like within finance, you have to know a lot of technology. If you're
Right,
into marketing, you have to understand a bit of the psychology of the people, because
right,
the business world is very complex and technology has changed things a lot. So,
right,
so
right,
one
right.
can't restrict oneself to one or two skills.
I agree with you totally on this because I'm also here in the corporate sector.
Right.
I can just imagine the things that you are saying is currently happening.
Yes, yes, with all of us. That's correct.
Yeah, it's currently happening with all of us. Okay,
Right.
so coming over to Dalal Roy, he wants to know he's learning the quants and DI from a banking YouTube channel. Now
Mm-hmm.
people are diverting towards like online mode. So will he
Mm-hmm.
be able to crack it?
So again, Dulal, this is like answering that I play international cricket. So international cricket, you could be playing for India, you could be playing for Australia, you could be playing for Nepal or Namibia. It is not the same thing. So similarly, on YouTube, there are hundreds, probably thousands of channels. Many of them are self-styled gurus. We don't know how good they are. I am not commenting on the channel you go from. I really hope it's very good. But it's not easy for me to suddenly answer, right? So there are some which are very good. Some of them I personally follow. So definitely they're good. But my only problem here is not that you're doing online. My problem is that it is banking and you are studying for CAT. Banking and CAT are similar exams, but not the same. I would say there is a significant distinction. CAT is a bit tougher. Banking and MAT may be fine, but banking and CAT may not go. So especially, and also what about English? You did not answer that. So maybe you also need to go for English from somewhere. Yeah, so that is something. Go for a specific cat thing. If it's YouTube, I have no problem. I myself takes often sessions online, but go for a specific cat based channel.
Right. And Dulal, take down this step and just like change the things, maybe because still you have time for following the YouTube channels, which are specifically for these exams. Okay. And when to start preparing for CAT? Like in which year would you suggest? Now it's already around the corner, but still, anonymous attendee wants to know about the same.
I would say in your last year. So if the exam is in November, in your last year, which you want to attend, I mean that way. So if the exam, let's say you go for November of 2023, then start preparing from maybe Feb, March 2023. I think that is good enough. If you start now for next year, that's also okay. But don't go more than 12 months, because as I said earlier to another student, you might lose steam, you might be over enthusiastic, and that doesn't work also, right? It can work in engineering, in medical. Those are very tough exams with a lot of competition. CAT is a big exam, but not as big, with due respect, as those. So plus a lot of things in CAT are consistent, are also about creativity. Creative things don't last for 18 months, right? Because RC, for example, you need to have a creative bent of mind. Now, if you want to prepare for a long time, I would say focus on reading, because in reading comprehension, RC, the more number of topics you are reasonably good at, it will help you. Read a bit of philosophy, read a bit of science, bit of business, bit of history, bit of I don't know, bit on fashion, bit on anything for that matter. That will help you. Otherwise, 8 months is good enough, not more than that.
That's a pretty well answer. 8 months is good enough. So guys who are like planning to do CAT maybe next year, they can plan from this year itself. Okay, so anonymous attendee wants to know like her daughter is in second year BA psychology and she wants to pursue MBA HR. How many months of preparation is needed? So this is an interrelated question for MBA and HR. So again, the same thing applies here also for 8 months.
Yes, 8 months, maximum 12 months. Don't
Okay.
go for more. And with psychology, HR is going to work very well. All those who are attempting HR, I would say that maybe you can keep your minds open to maybe industrial HR. That is something which is going to boom. If India is to become a manufacturing hub, which right now, we are trying to focus on a lot. We are pretty good at services. We are trying to grow in terms of manufacturing. So in manufacturing, we need a lot of HR who can handle labor relations. I think that is where a lot of our HR are not venturing towards. So if she's going for HR, I would say that maybe she has to be open to working in a factory site, which could be in a small town with good pay and good seniority, but handling labor, that's also a big challenge.
Oh, that ways. Okay.
Yes.
Because I think students are mostly confused that HR options are there in the schools as well.
Hmm.
Mostly they are open in the corporate sector.
Yes, yes.
So you
No,
could,
these are of course there. I'm not denying these are very much there. But as I
okay.
said, in the future, with manufacturing hopefully coming up in the
Okay.
hopefully in the next 5, 6, 10 years, 15 years, India
Yes.
can become a manufacturing hub, and
Right.
there I think people can really do well in industrial HR as well. That will open up a lot, I believe.
Right. That's a great vision you're having towards the future and giving a broader perspective here also.
Right.
Thanks. Okay. And what about MBA and PGDM about Christ University?
Yeah, MBA and PGTM and Christ. I can't see this question. Is it?
It's by anonymous attendee and
Okay,
by
yes, yes, I saw it.
Varshini. Both of them have asked. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he or she is asking two questions, MBA and PGDM, and the other question is Christ. So Christ is a
Right.
very good college. Don't worry, very good college. Uh, Not a great college. There are better ones, but again, it's a pretty good college at that level. That is what I would say. At UG, it is very good because at UG the number of options are lesser. At PG, there are many more options. So again, that is something, but being in Bangalore is a positive thing because Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, maximum jobs are in these places. So
Right.
let's say there's a downturn tomorrow, there is an economic crisis or something, which could happen in Europe. We are seeing certain crises. So if this war, for example, continues longer, there could be some issues. So under those situations, being in a big city helps a lot. So that is a good thing about Bangalore. MBA and PGDM, I am very happy somebody asked. I think this is relevant for everybody. Everybody should hear this carefully. So MBA and PGDM, there is no difference technically in terms of study, in terms of technicality. It's just that a university can give an MBA tag and a standalone institute can give PGDM. Otherwise, there is no difference between the two.
Okay. And Bangalore is the good option
Yes, yes, certainly.
comparatively.
Yes,
Okay. I hope Varshini and anonymous attendee, you must have got the answer because Bangalore, he just said, these are the financial hubs
yes.
wherein most of the financial sectors have invested and the corporates are there. So definitely go for these first. Okay, so we'll just be coming up to the next question. We have many questions being piled up. How to start the preparation for the verbal section, aiming CAT 2025?
2025. So you have a lot of time. I would suggest that you improve your reading till then. I hope you are interested in reading. So start with basic stuff. I don't know how much you read, so it'll be difficult for me to say, but start with relatively basic stuff, improve your reading, and maybe by 2024, you can start doing various puzzles and quizzes for specifically for CAT. But again, this is something I've answered before. I'll say again, don't be too enthusiastic, over enthusiastic, and start like 3 years back. It's a little early. Chill, enjoy life. Next year or so, learn other skills, watch some good films, go and you could do some live projects, internships. All that will build your profile. Do some extracurricular stuff, participate in debates. That will build your profile rather than specifically studying for CAT. That you can do 2 years later.
Right, these extra things already matters a lot.
Yes.
Like the question that was asked about the English thing, how to improve English. So that could be a good start.
Yes, yes.
Right. Okay. So how much prior we should start, Purvi? He has already answered that 8 months is the minimum or maximum time.
8 to 12, huh?
8 to 12 that you could give for
Yes.
preparation, maybe for all the exams. And she is in second year of graduation. Is it the right moment? Yeah.
Yes, again, I mean, assuming it's a usual graduation, if it's engineering, then third year you can start. If it's a 4 year engineering, then you start in the third year. If it's a non-engineering 3 year graduation, then you can start in the second year.
Okay. Yeah. And how to tackle the quant section?
So this again depends on how good you are in maths. Some people are very good at maths. In fact, lots of people who make it to the best IIMs, they are good at maths with due respect, which is why we see so many IITians make it to the IIMs, obviously. So if you're not very good at maths, please start preparing. In fact, the first thing you should say is, in fact, I can see you've already done that. You are calling it quant, you're not calling it maths. That's a very good thing. That is the best way to rid yourself of all the fear. It is quant, it is not math. You don't need to show stepwise marking. You just have to get the answer. Learn the tricks, learn the shortcuts. So that's where YouTube channels and other coaching can be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why MBA fees range from 15 lakh to 25 lakh?
No, not all of them start from 15 lakhs. There are those which are much cheaper than that. Um but the reason I'm assuming she's asking why is it so high? Is that the underlying thing? It's high because there are lots of job opportunities after that. Over a period of your career, you do end up earning that much. So I think that is one big reason. Plus, of course, there is hype, there is business. I mean, that's how it is. That's how things are. Plus, they have a lot of costs. Faculty costs are heavy. Infrastructure costs are very heavy. The journals are expensive. The classroom infrastructure takes a lot of, the rentals and all, air conditioners. Nowadays, most classrooms are air conditioners. So that has a cost as well. So yeah, all of that, I think, factors in.
Yeah, that's true. And like, can you name some of the good colleges for CAT and MAT? Many students wants to know here.
Yes. CAT obviously have to start with the IIMs. Apart from IIMs, you have obviously an MDI. You have in Delhi, IMI is a very good college. Then I believe SP Gen also takes both CAT and XAT. Right, these are some of the really good colleges. Then, if I may look at in Mumbai, there are quite a few options. I believe KJ Somaiya is pretty good. UBS Chandigarh. Delhi has other options like Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management, Ford School of Management. Right, these are a couple of really good options. Under MAT, as I said, number of options are fewer. I think Christ accepts MAT. There is also Alliance University in Bangalore that accepts MAT. So these are some really good ones.
Okay, there is one interesting question by anonymous attendee. Can we do job and MBA course together at the same time? Will it be beneficial or not?
Absolutely, you can do. Whether it's beneficial or not depends on your personal situation. Your why do you want to? It depends on your personal situation. Maybe some people would require the money. That is a different thing. Some people are doing a good job. They don't want to leave it. So all that is there. For somebody who wants to do them together, you have two options. One is you do a 3-year part-time course, right, where you go for studies during the weekends, and over a period of time you make it up. So that's good. It's called executive MBA. The other thing you can do is you drop 1 year completely and do a 1-year course. There are lots of colleges which go for 1-year courses, like you have the Global Risk Management Institute. Of course, you have the ISB, that's very elite, but if you can make it to ISB, Great Lakes, there is a Soil Institute in Gurugram. So these are a couple of good options for 1 year.
Okay. And I would like you to please highlight something about the mock test, that how many mocks should be given to get a good rank, along with the best way to study for these exams.
Right. For mocks, I would say minimum 15 should be the target of CAT only. Now, apart from that, most institutes, if you notice, most of the really good institutes, most of the good coaching institutes, the institutes I've been associated with, they give you a bouquet of options, because CAT has a different format. XAT is slightly different. MAT is different. So you should take up at least 15 CAT mocks, at least 5 MAT mocks, 5 XAT mocks. That is how it should be. Some from IFT in case you're giving the IFT paper. So that is how you typically divide your course. The other thing you should, again, it also matters on how many months you're preparing. Like I said, 8 to 12 months is an ideal range. So first month or two, you may not appear for mocks, but then you must. One big misconception that students have is that I will start doing mocks once the syllabus is over. Please understand, the word syllabus does not exist for a competitive exam. Whether it is a UPSC, if any of you goes for UPSC exams in the future, or banking, as somebody was saying, or CAT, there is no syllabus. So your syllabus will never get over. You have to start competing from day one. And the big institutes, big coaching institutes, you can compete with the rest of the country. That is a very big advantage. So if I'm taking a paper somewhere, I can actually measure my scores against other people. So that is something very much needed. If you feel that you cannot compete against the whole country, at least compete against your batchmates, right? Start with that.
Right. Okay. And what about, I think Ayushi, you also got your answer and he clearly explained it. So through which exam one person can get like IIM for MBA? That's CAT, you already told.
Only CAT,
But
yes.
apart from that, no other
I
exams.
believe there is no other exam. There is the option of a GMAT. That is for
Okay.
specific cases. I believe it is for those from NRI quota and those who are going for the executive MBA course, because they also have an executive MBA. For that, you need a minimum X number of years of experience. So for that, you can go for it. But generally, for most students, because in this kind of a session, we are speaking to the majority of people. For you, CAT is the right exam for an IIM.
Okay. And how many hours should we spend per day in order to prepare for these tests? Can we refer question paper online apart from the mocks that you just told?
Yes, yes. So I would say minimum 4 hours and 4 to 8 hours. Some people appear for CAT while being at a job. So in that case, obviously, you cannot do a lot. If you're returning home after office at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, people have late working hours, and sometimes the weekends are also busy. So I cannot expect anybody to give more than 3 to 4 hours in a day. So if you can give that, it's very good. There are people who are in college, there are people who have dropped a year, they can obviously give longer time, right? For example, if there's a student who has finished graduation, there are many people who finish graduation and then go for it. In that case, you can definitely study for 8 to 10 hours. And for somebody who's in final year, again, I think 6 hours you can, 5 to 6 hours you can give.
Okay. Anonymous attendee has already answered that at least give 8 to 12 months for your preparation. And I think this answers most of your questions, guys. Apart from that, we'll just be taking up the questions which are not repeatedly asked, and he's trying to explain you every bit of it about the exam. Which college is best for MBA in cheap fees?
Cheap fees. A very good college, I will tell you. It is one of the toughest colleges to get into, probably in the world, is FMS in Delhi University, the Faculty of Management Studies. So that is Delhi University. Delhi University is centrally funded, so it is very cheap. So yeah, go for FMS. Another very good option is Jamnalal Bajaj in Mumbai. That is like DU, except that it is not central government; it is Maharashtra government. But I think there's a large Maharashtra quota as well, because it's part of the state government. But if you're from Maharashtra, go for Jamnalal Bajaj. It's a great option with low fees. I think in Chandigarh, UBS as well, University Business School. That is also a university. Most places which are part of a university, they are cheaper.
Wow,
So
you
yeah.
have good, you have given a good number of colleges under this category as well.
Hmm.
And Harshal also have written specifically taking government college like FMS is helpful for our future. If
Hmm.
they go for FMS, how helpful would it be? Will it be?
Yes, yes, FMS is great. Absolutely. Many people I know have chosen FMS over IIMs. Like take out ABC, that is a separate league altogether. Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, let's leave them aside. But even the fourth best IIM, let's say Lucknow, I know people who have chosen FMS over IIM Lucknow. That is how good FMS is. And of course, everybody loves to save money. Any human being in any situation, if you are getting the same thing at 1/20th or 1/30th of the price, why not?
Right. And Delhi University is itself a
Yes,
bigger thing.
yes.
Okay. And how to manage consistency?
Uh-huh.
That's very
Consistency
important.
is very important. I would say it is more important. Somebody was asking me that can an average student crack CAT? I would say average is all right, but inconsistency is a big problem. Like think of yourself from as a student. Think of it. Let's say if I was a teacher, I don't think any student minds strict teachers. In the long run, nobody minds, but people mind inconsistency. If I'm very lenient with one student and very strict with another, that is a problem. I would say same with a student. You have to prepare with consistency. On a Sunday you don't want to study, or there's a festival, there's Diwali, your family members have come, please go ahead, leave nobody is forcing you. But at least 6 days a week you have to give those solid 4 to 5 hours a day. So that is something you have to maintain. You have to take mock exams consistently, because it is not just about remember, aptitude exams, these kind of competitive exams, they're not only about content, it is about how you prepare on the day. Mock exams, one more thing about mocks is that you must take mocks at the time of the day when the real paper is. I teach a lot of CLAT students as well, the law exam. So that exam always occurs 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So I always tell my students, give your mock 3 to 5, that sort of timing, because your body clock gets attuned to that system. Some people may have a habit of taking a nap in the afternoon, right? So that is something which can be broken if you take up these mocks regularly.
Definitely. Then poor academic student can also come up
Yes,
after
yes.
giving that mocks.
One more thing
And
about mocks I would like to add is that while some students might be studying on YouTube, etc., I think it's wonderful, no problem. But mocks, try as much as possible if you can give from a physical center. So there are lots of coaching institutes. Even if you don't join them, that's fine. But at least for mocks, you must go there because that gives you the atmosphere of sitting with many other people, a few other people. So you are there at a real place, and there are lots of inconveniences. Maybe there is a mosquito there on that day, maybe there is a power failure, maybe there's a train line nearby and it is causing disturbance. These are real world problems which everyone has to face. So at least for mocks, try to join some institute and go for offline mocks, even if it's not needed for your studies.
that's actually a mandate thing, I suppose,
Yes, yes,
to go before going for an exam.
yes.
Okay. And which section should be attempted first in these exams?
Completely, that's a personal thing. This is one thing where I don't think there is any magic formula because every student has his or her strengths and weaknesses, right? There are some people who would like to go for the strengths first so that you start on a positive note. Um, uh, so if I have to choose, I would say do quants first because quants takes lesser time. If I look at time, this thing English or verbal takes a lot of time because you have to read each and every word of a passage. So if I have to choose, I would say give longer amount of time duration, keep it towards the end so that you have. But again, some of the exams, they also have time limits. Like there's a 40-minute this thing only, or there's a 1 hour thing only for English. In that case, you can't even switch this, right? So that is a problem. You have to see on the day. Best thing is take mocks, take as many mocks, you will realize what suits you best. Try all combinations.
And how many questions should be attempted to give, like in CAT, basically to get 95 percentile?
You have to attempt at least 70% of the questions which are there and hope for a 90% accuracy. I think that is the best way. So if you have total 100 questions in the paper, you need to attempt at least 70 and make sure at least 62, 63 of them are correct. That can give you a 95 percentile.
Okay, Samiksha is like asking what if one attempts just one question, one section in CAT and
Mhm.
very few questions from the rest of the section. Will it work?
It won't work because there are sectional cutoffs as well. If you're attempting very few in the other sections and you do exceptionally well, let's say you get 100% accuracy, then your overall percentile will be fine. You can make it to decent colleges, but you can't make it to really good colleges unless you attempt a good number of questions, right? So that won't work actually. So I'll prefer if you attempt more from every section.
From every section.
You have to be
Okay,
a jack of all trades, master of something. So choose
exactly.
something to be a master, but you have to be a jack at everything.
Yeah, that's a great phrase fit in here. Okay, so Naman Arora wants to know, I didn't get that much level of confidence for giving CAT 2022. So which entrance exam should I target? He filled NMAT, SNAP, and XAT.
I think that you've done the absolutely right thing because these are very good exams to target as a backup. NMAT, SNAP, and IBSAT. Especially with NMAT, there are a number of options. Many colleges nowadays, SNAP as well. So SNAP is slightly easier, and the shall we say accuracy is generally higher, but you have to attempt more number of questions. You still have a bit of time for SNAP, so please go ahead, right? You can also fill that. I think you still have time to fill that form. So just go for it.
Okay. And what about Micah? Ram Pukar is asking
Mm.
that Micah College, can he fill the form for that? Because in this time, my scores are coming
80
to
to 90.
80 to 90. Yeah, between.
Hmm. Yes, yes. Micah is a very good college, and I think 80 to 90 is a decent score. It's not very bad. So basically, percentiles used to be much higher in the past. They have now reduced because number of IIMs have increased a lot. Now, an IIM could be a new IIM. Nobody may have heard of it, but an IIM is still an IIM. There are lots of social pressures. So I know lots of people who will go for a lower IIM than a very good non-IIM college. So because of this, the every other college in the country, their average percentile has actually reduced a bit, right? Plus, there are also other things like diversity, for example, gender. in terms of what you have studied in class 12. If you're a humanities student, if you are a fresher, then because every college wants to add diversity. Couple of years back, Indian B schools were notoriously male engineering and work experience. So the government and many authorities, they decided that was not a good, very good, shall we say, pool of talent. We need diversity. So you also have to look at all that, right, Rampukar? But Micah, I'm very happy he mentioned Micah. I think all students here, they must go for a college like Micah, especially if you have a creative bent of mind. If you like speaking, if you're good at speaking, if you are good at public speaking, you've done debating, etc. Micah is for advertising, and even for market research, it is very good. So I think that's a really good option.
Okay, and I think Rampukar, it will be useful again. A great tip by Mr. Aritro. Okay, so like Dulal is saying he'll be giving CAT this year. He did analysis, as you just said, about mocks and all, giving in mocks and all, and his percentage is fluctuating. So how he can improve it?
Right. This is perfectly normal. It happens to everyone. Percentiles keep fluctuating, but just make sure it doesn't fluctuate too much. Somewhere between 75 and 95, I'm okay. But it shouldn't be 35 and 95, because there is something called luck of the draw. This is something you and I can't do much about it. That is the name of the game in any entrance exams. That's why you often see, unlike in a class 12 CBSE exam, which has a fixed syllabus. So if I'm good, I will be good. In an entrance exam, sometimes the luck of the draw matters. There could be a certain, at least you are lucky, there is no general knowledge in CAT. In exams where GK is an important subject, there you often have these situations where I'm very good at certain topic I've prepared, but there's no question from that. So that is something, it happens to everybody. It can't be controlled, but make sure your inconsistency is not more than a maximum 20 percentile.
Okay. And what about the MBA colleges with low fees? Guys, for the colleges that you want to know about different states, see, we are trying to help you overall with all the points we want to cover here in this session. So you can definitely refer to the shiksha.com page. You will get all the information about good MBA colleges, and I'll be sharing you the predictor link as well, wherein you can predict your rank. So that will not be a problem. And state-wise, you can get all the good MBA colleges there itself. It will be very difficult for him to tell about every state. So we are picking up general questions, and we are trying to help you in that way so that all the things are covered up. Okay, so Niyati wants to know, I would like to pursue MBA in entrepreneurship. Which exam should I focus on, and how is the scope of this specialization? Apart from that, I just want to add on one more thing, because I just read under Q&A tab, there were many questions. Which specialization do you think will be more demanding in future, and they should go for?
Yeah, so I'll answer the second question first, because that is slightly more relevant for everybody. So again, this is something, uh, everybody has different likes or dislikes. It is like one can't shoehorn everybody. Nowadays there's a lot of awareness that let's not put pressure on youngsters that you only have to do engineering, you only need to do medical. Same way in MBA, we can't say that you have to do finance or you have to do marketing. That we can't say. So it completely depends on your skills, your abilities. But if you still ask me maximum jobs in the future, I think they will be in marketing and probably in finance. I think jobs in HR might be a little lesser, because automation is taking away some of the repetitive jobs there. That is true. But on the other hand, in HR, industrial HR has a lot of demand. Training and development, because you need a lot of trainers nowadays. That is a booming field. Finance and HR overall, finance and marketing overall, I would say there are slightly more number of jobs. In marketing, every job that says marketing is not actually marketing. That also you need to understand. A lot of jobs with a marketing title are actually sales jobs. So you have to be prepared for that, right? So, but again, it depends on your interest. That's why we always tell students, unless you are completely focused, go for a generic MBA. So in your first year, you study everything. So right now, you don't know what is marketing, you don't know what is HR. First year, you study all the subjects. Then in the second year, you can choose much better, right? The other question about entrepreneurship, there are many colleges which offer this. I would say right now you try to get as high a percentile as possible. And instead of going for an entrepreneurship course, which is also there, I'll tell you some colleges, but the other thing you can do is go to a best college, whichever best college you can go. And some of the best colleges have very good entrepreneurship cell. That will be very useful because they also, entrepreneurship cell where they have a, shall we say, incubation facilities. If your business model is approved, then they allow you some funds because they generate you funds for you. They can connect you with these seed companies, seed funds, which can venture capitalists, which who can sort of fund your venture. So it'll be better as good a college as you go. Better colleges also have another advantage. It's not about teachers actually. You spend very less time with your teacher, but your crowd, your co-students will be very good. There could be somebody in your class who's very talented at something, another who's, and also you'll get diversity. There will be some student from Kashmir, some from Kanyakumari, some from Mizoram, someone from Mumbai. So the kind of diversity, the kind of, maybe even from abroad. So that will give you a lot of this thing. So go to as best a college as possible. Entrepreneurship specific courses, I will have to check a bit, to be very honest. But I believe NIAM is a good institute right now, National Institute of Entrepreneurship Management. I think in Ahmedabad, there's a very good college. So I'll have to check the name once. Yeah, just give me, maybe after the class, I'll check and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'll share that. And I think the best learnings comes from the community only where you are
Yes.
staying. So that's
Yes.
again one of the most important thing you have shared. And how to excel in GD
I can't hear you, Kanika.
and PI.
How to excel in GD and PI?
Yes.
Okay, so GD and PI, I would say the best way to excel is I will do a bit of self-publicity, self-publicity for both myself and Shiksha. So shiksha.com, I am a regular writer. I have written a lot of articles on GDs actually. So if you read them, you'll get a very good idea. So maybe Kanika, you can share with them some of the links after the session because there are lots of articles we've written. Quickly, I'll just tell you that for GD, you obviously need to be a good speaker, but don't shout. For right now, what you need to do is build your content. I will also say that GDs are becoming a bit unpopular with colleges. Lots of colleges during COVID, they were forced to drop GD because of obvious reasons. You couldn't have a congregation and stuff. And many colleges have dropped the GD altogether, replacing it with a VAT. I don't know if you're aware what is a VAT. Because in GD, what happens is somebody who has a certain loud personality generally gets noticed. So many colleges before COVID had already progressed from a GD to a VAT, and many colleges during COVID were forced to go drop a GD. So GD is something you must practice, but you should pay greater focus on the interview and VAT. For interview and VAT, very important is a good general knowledge. Don't worry about GK now. Prepare for CAT till 27th. Don't think of these things. Once CAT is over, whole of December, you must do a lot of reading, business newspapers, especially business papers, economy. For example, we had the G20 summit, it's currently ongoing. You have the football World Cup starting in a few days. There was the COP27 meet, for global environment. Read up on these things in the month of December. The content will help you a lot.
Right. So exactly, you should be a general knowledge freak as well.
Yes.
But he's just trying to explain. And Tishi is again and again asking me about the maths because she's not good in maths. Then how can she score good in CAT?
If you're not good at maths, then as I said, first of all, you have to start calling it quantitative aptitude. You don't get marks for stepwise this thing. So this is slightly easier than a class 12 maths. You only get questions till class 10 in most of the exams. There are some class 11, 12 questions, but mostly it is 10th level. That is the first thing. The other thing, I believe you must join some institute, some coaching, or take the help of some teacher, because if you're not good at something, then remotely studying may not help you. Like I know lots of people who study at IITs or something who are good at maths, so they study on their own. Or maybe if you're good at English, and then you can do English on your own. But if you know, it's a very good thing that you know. It's a good thing to know your weaknesses. If you're not good at it, take help. Speak, go to some institute, take coaching maybe for this. I think that's the best way for
Right.
maths. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And Mohammad Rehan Faridi wants to know is MIT Sharda Symbiosis Pune have good MBA placements? And I would like you to highlight something about the placements overall for MBA students.
So Amity, Sharda, and Symbiosis, right? Those were the three he mentioned. Yeah,
Yes.
Symbiosis in Pune is very good. It's pretty high. Amity and Sharda is also not as good as Symbiosis, but pretty good. Again, Amity is such a big university that thousands of students, so you get all kinds of ranges. You get many students who have opted out of placements because there are lots of students who are from business background, business family, who opt out of placements. So that is one category. Apart from that, you also have lots of sales jobs, which the designation is marketing, but you're actually selling. But there are some people who do very well from those colleges. Amity, big advantage is the name is a bit commercialized, but it's a big name. So you come under the notice of recruiters, and if you can do well in the interview, definitely the sky is the limit. Overall placements, I would say it is a very it is just like answering like in the cricket World Cup, what kind of players you have. You have players who have won the World Cup for, I believe England won it, and you have those countries which did very badly. So obviously it's a huge range. It can be as low as 15,000 a month. It can be as high as you start at 2.5 lakhs a month. So it's very difficult to answer. The better the college, you will obviously get it better. I must also tell you two more things, that some of the placement figures may not be 100% accurate. I'm not saying they're telling lies. I'm not suggesting that. All I'm saying is sometimes it does not actually reflect. Like if there's a class of 5 students, just for ease of conversation, I'm making it 5 students. Now, 4 of them get an average salary of say 30,000 in hand. The fifth guy gets a placement in Dubai or in US or somewhere. That person may not be earning very much for the Dubai level, but it skews the overall ratio. I hope you're getting my point, right? Plus, many companies add other things like insurance, the other cost to company, which again is ultimately spent on you. So I'm not saying it's a lie, but it's a bit deceptive. So don't go by this alone. And placement is not the only thing. Look at other things. Look at rankings. I think shiksha.com comes up with a very scientific ranking system of colleges where it takes everything. Because I used to work with a college and I've entered in shiksha.com's B school survey. I used to fill the data, send it to them so they have this thing on placements is one. There is in physical infrastructure. There is the quality of the library, research, faculty student ratio. Alumni strength is very important, because it's possible that I get a very good placement, but I may not grow. If I have a big alumni base, that's the big advantage that IIMs have. Their alumni base is so strong that if I am a 30-year-old person who's going through a mid career crisis, I always have a senior who will help me out. And I have seniors and I have batchmates who are placed all over the country, all over the world, in across sectors. So look at alumni base, very important.
Yeah, that's again an important thing being shared by Mr. Aritro. So we'll be just covering up which book should be referred for these exams, and specifically for CAT. And is there any benefit for the OBC candidate as well?
Yes, there is a reservation. Most of the colleges, the government colleges, they all have the reservation. SC, ST and EWS is there in all of them. OBC, of course, you have to take care of the creamy layer, non-creamy layer thing. So you have to look at whoever is under that. So that way. But these reservations are mandatory. So obviously there is. What was the other question? Book.
The books that you
Books,
would
there are
prefer.
many books in the market. For English, you can go for Kaplan. For maths, Arihant is very good. RS Agarwal is a very good option. RD Sharma is a good option. Yeah, so there are all of these there.
Okay, and what about data analytics? That's also in demand right now.
Yes, a lot in demand. So most colleges, they do offer. It's not a full-fledged course per se, but they often offer these as an elective. Mostly these are electives. You can't have a full 1-year course on data analytics, but data analytics is often shall we say, it's an elective usually for most students. In marketing, it's very important. Sometimes it's important in finance also, less so in HR and the other courses, but in marketing, definitely data analytics is particularly important.
Okay. Guys, I'm just creating a poll over here till the time we try to help you out to the extent we could. And was this session useful to you, helpful to you? On a scale of 1 to 10, please rate, and wherein 10 means you like this session extremely likely. So I've launched it, and please go ahead and answer the poll. Till the time, we'll just take over other question. Which exam is best to be written for getting seats in MBA in business analytics? And again, what are the best colleges in Mumbai for MBA in business analytics?
Business analytics, almost every college is now offering electives. So best, I would always say IIMs, make it to the IIMs, do very well in CAT, make it to the top IIMs. So the Bangalore has a very good data analytics thing. And of course, Bangalore is the city of data analytics. It is the Silicon Valley of India. So yeah, definitely go for it.
I hope you got your answer, dear. And it's good that you are going towards the poll, everyone. Okay. And what about information technology? Your view in MB about that course offered by Symbiosis specifically.
Symbiosis one is pretty good, especially I think it is specifically for engineers. So yeah, Symbiosis was one of the oldest universities which went for an IT specific MBA. So yes, definitely they're very good. But if you want to do, if you're really good at it and you want to go for an IT MBA, Symbiosis is a very good option. But even better is NITI, which is in Mumbai, and of course the IITs. The IITs have their MBA as well. The SBSOM, for example, also the IT Delhi, they have very good MBAs. So they are even better for this thing. For operations and systems, these are very good places.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing this information once again. I would request you all guys to please visit shiksha.com. You will find all the information there itself. You will find all the top MBA colleges as per ranking. Also, Sir just shared it with you, and you will get a great wider picture about which college or which course or which exam you can opt for and how you can prepare for these exams. So still, if you are being left out, I will also request you, I'll be also sharing one mail after this session, maybe very soon with the YouTube link, because this video will get posted. And if you have joined late, some of you would just like shared that under Q&A session that you have joined late. So you can refer to that YouTube link. You can watch it, and you can get again all the information about this informative session there itself. You can also watch our trending webinars on shiksha.com. And I would just like to close this session here itself, since we are running short of time. Otherwise, this was quite informative session and it was going very well. I will be coming back very soon with the second session, as like we have many questions that are still being posted, and we would love to answer them, but since we are running short of time, we cannot take more as of now. So we end up here itself, and I would like to thank Mr. Arithro for joining us and giving such a great information. This was quite informative session. I hope this information that you have shared will be of great advantage to all our aspirants. Thank you so much, sir, once again for coming over.
Thank you once again, Kanika, for inviting me. And I really wish the best to all the students who have attended the session. I hope you do very well if you're appearing this year or if you're appearing next year. So
Yes.
best of luck to all of you. And I think we have answered almost all the questions, because many of the questions were sort of similar.
Repeated.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
They
I
were
think we have overall
overall,
answered.
yes.
Yes.
It was an informative session. Anonymous attendees also writing. So like I just want all of you to wish all the best once again, and we hope to see you in the next session. We'll be coming up maybe very soon on demand. So thank you so much, and bye-bye for now.
Thank you
Thanks a
so
lot.
much. Yeah.